Ezra chapter 6. And will begin to make inquisition of them what they be that have hurt unjustly with their unrighteousness, and when the affliction of Zion shall be fulfilled. Verse 20. And when the world that shall begin to vanish away shall be finished, then will I show these tokens. Tokens are signs or prophecies. The book shall be opened before the firmament, and they shall see all together. Verse 21. And the children of a year old shall speak with their voices. The women with child shall bring forth untimely children of 3 or 4 months old, and they shall live and be raised up. And you living in a time where, you got children that's speaking at younger ages. It's actual videos on the internet where children are speaking, they're saying words, and they're at an age where at one point in time you'd have thought they wouldn't be able to speak. At one point in time when a child wasn't brought in an environment to a certain kind of way, that child would basically pass. But because of these technologies that Esau Edom has and use today, you have children that normally would have, like for instance, like cesareans and whatnot. Although they were doing these things in the past, at one point in time, the whole idea would be to say the mother, or you know what I mean, and the baby might die, But now you got technologies where the mother and the child could possibly live if it's Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh's wills, because Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai's will, because of the fact of these technologies. It says, verse 22, the point, and suddenly shall the sown places appear unsown, the full storehouses shall suddenly be found empty. I want to start off by giving all praise, all honor, and all glory to God, Elohim, like Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai, Ba'ashem Rachakadosh. Double honors to my apostles, the elders of the great millstone, who teach and do rule well. Peace and salutations to the Akim across the four corners of the earth, pushing his truth with faith and with sincerity, as well as risking their lives and their freedom to do so, now more so than ever. Shalom to the Akim and the Aquath out there listening and learning, Lord willingly. This is edifying. Shalom to the Israelite foreigners scattered abroad in the land of other nations, appearing like the other nations, but subscribing to this truth. To you, I say shalom. It's the brother Yahweh Sap out of the GMS Cleveland Church, a fellow servant. I'm coming at you another lesson through the Spirit and through the power of Yahweh Shem Shai. This lesson is in regards to pretty much a article I came across. I was listening to this keeper of the house, and it's sometimes, well, I find it very informative, because right now we're in an information age, and that's how they about to basically come censor, because it's too much free information floating around, and Esau Edom likes to control the narrative. So although, well, the Lord can send insight and enlightenment and information for your to build you up, or to chastise you, or whatever, through many of means. The Lord might not always use a brother, or a scripture. You might be around a 2/3 nigga, and he might say something that actually contains wisdom, and the Lord cut you or build you up, not to digress, but I was thinking about, it was a video a couple weeks ago, the elder brother Ayash from Mississippi was going into, I forgot the name of the video, but he was going into how basically, like, it's time to man up in his truth. And then I remember that same day, the elder Apostle Tahar posted the video with Bernard Hopkins, and he was going into the NWO and manning up. So that was the Spirit confirming certain things. He used an individual like Bernard Hopkins. And like the elder said, well, like the elders say, everybody watches us because we're, what I mean? Uh, the scriptures talk about you're gonna receive fame, you know, we're gonna receive fame, you know what I mean? You know, but our fame is gonna come with a persecution as well, It's gonna take, at the beginning, that attention is gonna be looked at to bring on persecution. But nonetheless, I could see him watching because it was certain things he was saying. But my point of bringing up all that was the fact that Salakia, for my digression, my mind 1,000 places, a lot going on right now. The Most High shaking the tree. Brothers familiar with what I'm talking about. It's always a sifting season. But I know brothers catching it right now. I, for one, am one of them brothers called Loyim Layaba Shimon Shah for this truth. Anyhow, I was following this economist and he was going to, everybody knows about the many CVS's closing. Everybody knows about the Walmarts and different, retail stores locking their goods behind certain goods you can't access unless, you get a store employee and it's behind glass. Well, they went a further step, you know what I mean? Which, that's why I came out with the storehouses being empty because look at that. Now that's going into food, but that's going into, a store is a store, different stores sell different things. So, again, we live in a time where prophecies are being fulfilled, and all of this is due to theft because, and what's sad about it too, you got individuals that's focused on the wrong thing. Brothers put up posts and put up all these different things. And it's funny how it's an algorithm. It's the spirit ultimately, but, the algorithm, I'll be watching something on my particular phone and my feed and another brother post what I was watching. I might not post it, but a brother posted. So, it's spiritual first and foremost, but it's also showing you how they trying to group everything together because it's an algorithm. They know who likes to watch what. You know what I mean? That's why you get certain suggested videos. Ultimately at the end of the day, it's cold how the Lord doing it. You know what I mean? Because you ain't gonna be able to deny it. Like if you was it, that's why it's funny. Like you got these individuals that's calling themselves getting carnal or trying to prepare carnally when you can't prepare. Now, ultimately, whatever you doing, the Lord put the spirit on you to do. But, that carnal aspect ain't going to save you. Like a lot of brothers been going in on the situation between WFI and those Palestinians, you know what I mean? Which, again, you would wonder why the fuck is you even down there protesting against them? You know what I mean? Like, both of them ain't supposed to be in our land. You know what I mean? And then, to show you, though, at the end of the day, the scriptures talk about the spiritual man and the carnal man, you know what I mean? And a majority of these other camps are carnal. Now, are there elect members amongst them? I'm sure there are, you know what I mean? It's going to take certain situations, for the Lord to lead certain men the direction he leads them, you know what I mean? You're going to have individuals, look at Paul. Paul was persecuting the church and then he was led to a certain direction and to a certain point where that's what put him in a position to believe. And he went harder for Yahweh Shem Yahshua than a lot of men, our forefathers that's named in the scriptures. But he was killing the very men that, you know what I mean? Like, that's how cold the Lord is. But again, Salaki for all the digression. Because you'll have people that won't even recognize what's going on. Like you got so much stuff changing right before your eyes. It's like they did a whole big ass spell of witchcraft. And if you don't have the spiritual eyesight to see it, you ain't gonna see it. And a lot of people gonna wake up one day, call themselves going to, I see it all the time. You got people, I recently went to a store that was 24 hours and they looking at me like I'm crazy. And I'm like, this ain't 24 hours. This ain't been like this since COVID. I'm like, wow, you know what I mean? Like, so much shit just has changed overnight. You know what I mean? Again, scriptures talk about in the book of 1 Thessalonians, people shall say peace and safety, and then sudden destruction shall appear. It's going to come upon you as a thief in the night, like the scriptures say. But, you know, you got a lot of companies keep on making this statement, restructuring. They downsizing, they laying off, they're firing. They're doing all these different things. Why do you think that is? Because they're restructuring for the system that's being put in place. The title of the article says Northeast CVS only has photos of paper products on shelves due to theft. And they keep on pushing this narrative of theft. You know, in Chicago, basically, they closed majority of the Walmarts in the inner cities where Jake stayed, nonetheless. And what their plan is to do is what? Bring in government-backed grocery stores in, again, Jake neighborhoods. So how do you think that's going to affect Jake? That means you ain't going to be able to buy exactly what you want. They about to show you don't have the freedom like you think. This is the beginning of this whole CBDC shit. Because you got to understand the CBDC is a programmable digital money. So they can program what you can buy with it and what you can't and how long you have to spend it to make you a good little slave. This images popped up on social media. Images popped up on social media of empty store shelves, and that's 2 Ezra 6:22, with the poster bemoaning the absence of paper products that have stood there and ridiculing the photo frames that sat in their place. The shelves are inside the CVS store on H Street Northeast, where pictures of paper towels and toilet paper products line the shelves, and there's buzzer button shopper pressed to summon the store clerk to retrieve the product from a back room where they are safely stored. You know, again, and this is going to be that big push to make everything automated. You know, it's literally so spiritual because Joe Biden just passed in legislation. They signing bills right now. You know, America wants to be the country that pushes all this AI and technology driven. You know, what a lot of people don't even know. I remember me and the brother Bakar was doing videos about this, about Nokia, you know, which is a major semiconductor company, you know, so they make a lot of C-hips. And they just laid off a lot of people. I just did a video about that, but I believe it's Nokia or it's another company. I want to say it's Nokia because that's one of the reasons why the whole issue between Taiwan and China, you know, because, you know, Taiwan creates a whole bunch of semiconductors or C-hips. And America is a company that's based over there that, you know, partner with America that's trying to build a facility here. You know, so this devil has big aspirations, you know what I mean? You can never say that Esau Edom doesn't think big. You know, and it goes again to, you know, this man having a rulership mentality. Outside the store on the block, Salakia. It says, those familiar with the situation who asked not to be named said that people experiencing homelessness have been running off with the products without paying. And they already know, I mean, like I say right now, you can go to any financial channel, throw a brick or a rock at any direction, any channel on YouTube that talks about finances. All these economists are saying, oh yeah, this shit bad. They just borrowed another like $700 billion, I guess, to keep this bitch going because you got to remember, they was talking about the government shutting down at 45 days until they passed that emergency, whatever they did. So they quietly snuck that in. But again, you got inflation. So you got to remember, America is borrowing money. So if you have inflation, you're dealing with, or your car payments and your mortgages and things and whatnot, what do you think the interest payments are on this $700 billion America just borrowed? And me and a brother was looking at that at camp one time. I can't remember when, maybe a month ago. And we was looking at it was a newspaper article, or it's an article going into how much the interest payments alone would be for how much debt they got. And the interest payments was like $500 billion. So this place is unsustainable. This place is dead. It just don't know it yet because it's You know what I mean? You ever seen somebody just whoop, but they still on their feet? You know, Richard Pryor made a joke about that. He said, I had strong legs. He was talking about how he was an amateur boxer. You know, he wanted to box. He said, but he never won no fights. He said how he would work out, though. He said his first couple of fights, he was like, the dude whooped him on the top. He was like, but his legs was in good shape, so he wouldn't fall over. But it made me think of like this place. Like, people really, like, it's no bouncing back from this place. You know what I mean? Like, even though because people don't believe it spiritually because they see it, things constantly being built up and shit like that. But what do you think they're building up? See, people don't even understand construction. Like that money has already been paid from, you know what I mean? Like, you got to remember, like, construction money be paid up front type shit. You know what I mean? They might not start building on it, you know, till next year. You know what I'm saying? Like, that doesn't mean that this place is doing well. And then all these facilities, like, is basically switching over. You know, the government is basically buying unused office buildings because you had a lot of companies allow their workers to work from home. So they just got useless office buildings. And what they're trying to do is convert those office buildings into housing. For who? Those people that are unemployed that going to have to be on UBI, that's going to be actually have to take that CHIP. So, yeah, I mean, you got a case of homelessness. I mean, you know, people can't even afford their houses right now. You know, like, you know, they say, you know, in order to buy a house right now, nobody can afford it. It seems to be a case that people don't care. It says outside the store, the block transformed by newly built apartment buildings. Passers, ain't that the spirit? Passers-by acknowledge the recent sharp rise in retail theft. And just because, again, they built these apartment buildings doesn't mean that anybody's staying in them. That's one of the issues in China. You know? Because their economy is caught up and tied up in the real estate. You know, that's a significant part of their economy. You know, they got ghost cities in China. They got these cities where they got whole cities built up, but nobody's staying in them. And the way China works is you got to pretty much pay for the home before they even start working on it, which show you how, you know, the government really controls some shit over there. Like, you don't even know if they going to fix your shit. What if the company go bankrupt? You done put up all this money in there. How do you get your money back? Talk about, you know, unrighteous decrees. It says, it seems to be a case that people don't care about laws or respect that respect that anymore. In the United Kingdom, we are seeing shops closing down because they're losing so much money for people shoplifting. You know, and they keep pushing this shoplifting narrative. So what's that going to bring in? A situation where they have the ability to monitor everything. They already doing it now. You got buses that got cameras that see down alleys and shit. What the fuck you need to see down this alley for? You know what I mean? Like, I can see you watching what's going on the bus, you know, because it's certain things that happen on the bus. You know, I used to have to freak in the bus a lot. You'll see all kind of shit. People on drugs, people getting in fights, all kind of shit. But, you know, it's more, when you go to the bus, I know the last time I was on the bus might have 8 cameras. And they're not only filming the stuff that's going on the bus, but they film shit that's going on outside. Why do you think that is? Because if something happens, they can go pull that footage. It says, we are seeing shops closing down because they're losing so much money from people shoplifting, which is obviously having an impact on the economy in general, said Mark Davis of Yorkshire, England, a visitor in D.C. from the United Kingdom. So this is happening in Washington, D.C. It's funny, huh? The nation's capital. But you got to remember, Washington, D.C. is built across the street from the ghetto. So I'm going to get a scripture because it seems to be a case that people don't care about laws or respect that anymore. And the scripture said in the book of 2nd Ezra chapter 15, woe to the, I'm going to start at verse 14, 2nd Ezra 15 and 14. Woe to the world and them that dwell therein, for the sword and the destruction draweth nigh, and one people shall stand up to fight against another, and swords in their hands. And the modern day sword is the gun, you know. It says, Verse 16, for there shall be sedition among men, meaning uproars, opposition, insurrections, for there shall be sedition among men and evading one another. They shall not regard their kings nor princes. So they're not going to regard these people in authority, these people, from these police officers. It's going to get to a point that the police officers is not going to go out there. That's why they go. That's why you think New York and certain cities are unveiling robotic police. You know what I mean? Like robotic police dogs and shit like that. And you got the average nigga don't even know about this shit. They got a robotic police dog. They got a robot security robot in Crocker Park. Individuals that are, from my city, they'll know what Crocker Park is, but, they literally got one that's just running around scattered. And Crocker Park is a neighborhood where you wouldn't see crime. But you got to remember, this devil is the first criminal. You know what I'm saying? You go to Cribs and the criminal and all that. So, at the end of the day, this motherfucker the first criminal. So when it go bad, them the ones that's really going to be getting down. You know what I mean? Jake's still out of necessity. Esau's still out of, he's still out of necessity, but he also still out of thrills and, for the excitement. What's that one bitch name? Winona Ryder that played on Alien, played at Beetlejuice and all that. She was a klepto. Bitch got all this money, but was still stealing, getting caught stealing this shit. It says, for there shall be sedition among men, evading one another. They shall not regard their kings nor princes. In the course of their actions shall stand their power. So when you telling me that it's you got a family, and people expected aid from the government, and the government ain't gonna have no aid for you. Like they just took out, basically printed more money, but that's not for stimulus. That's not for stimulus. Like that's basically to keep these government programs that's actually already in place to keep on functioning. That what they just took out only is gonna last to the end of the year. That's how much, you know what I mean? People don't even understand the bigger picture of the shit. Like, they set up a whole new program because the banks are insolvent. So basically the banks are going to, get loans and shit from the Fed. I forgot what the name of the program is. And I was listening to that same, no, it's different. I listened to a different economist. They was going into how, I think his name Mike Gammon, and he was going into how that program where the banks can borrow from the Fed, it was set up March of this year. And that's why you had a whole bunch of banks fail. Like I did a video about it. It was like 700 something banks was failing. So what the Fed did was set up a special program where the banks can borrow from it. And that program is set to end next year. There's a lot of things that's happening next year, though. You got the BRICS nations unveiling their digital coin or their digital currency. Not that digital currency, Slovakia. Their gold-backed currency, Slovakia. For the, I misspoke. So again, like I said, you got people hoping that the government is going to come through, but it ain't going to be no, stimulus checks or whatnot. From what I hear, you got people that got those stimulus checks and they going to take that out of your taxes. We shall see. But it's truth to it because I know brothers that said that they got a certain amount on their taxes and then last year they got a lot less. Scripture says in the book of 2 Timothy chapter 3 and verse 1, it talks about, the sign of the times and how people will be in the last days. And it reads, this know also, 2 Timothy 3 and 1, this know also that in the last days perilous time shall come. I'm going to read it in the NLT. It says, you should know this, Timothy, that in the last days there will be very difficult times. When you go into that word perilous, it goes into dangerous and fierce and hard to do or hard to bear. So if they creating a system where they keeping you like like I forgot what stores was basically locking up the meat. You're gonna have stores that's gonna um and try to control your access to the meat. You know they don't care about certain shit. A bag of chips, a can of soup, but certain meats and certain hygiene. A lot of these CVS's, these Walgreens, which all are pretty much. I ain't gonna say all because a lot of CVS's are closing, but you see this about what's happening in Washington. Because they got this big push that all these stores are losing so much money due to theft. And then I remember the brother Micah Allah from Ancient Days went into it about how the fuck is y'all really talking about y'all taking all these losses from theft when y'all have insurance? A lot of stores are insured. A lot of stores, big stores like that, and big companies like that. That's just like the company I was just working for. Like like the female that I was working with, she was the union steward, and she was going into how basically they dealt with metal. So you all know you could fuck up metal and then reheat it and melt it down and and reuse it or scrap it. They really didn't lose money. So she was talking about how they could literally write it off on the books to say that they fucked it up and took a loss and get that money back, but then have one of the employees fix the work that was supposedly messed up and resell it. There's all kind of fucking loopholes in this devil's fucking system. This book of 2nd Ezra chapter 5 and verse point. I'm going to start with the point in verse 8. And it reads, there shall be confusion in many places, and the fire shall be off sent out again. Remember at that one point in time when you had all these different food processing plants being burnt down? You had these fires going on in California and, Canada and all these different places. It says, and the fire shall be off sent out again, and the wild beasts shall change their places. I was telling the brothers about how I had seen a dead coyote. A coyote is kind of almost similar to a wolf. They're not, but they pretty similar because a lot of people wouldn't realize a coyote looks kind of like a wolf. The difference between a wolf and a coyote is a wolf is a lot leaner, has a longer muzzle. They bigger, leaner, sharper teeth. I think the bite pressure is harder, but they look similar. And I remember when I was homeless, I seen the coyote and I seen a dead one here. So when the scriptures talk about the dogs to tear, the teeth of wild beasts, the Lord is going to use these animals to, it make me think of that movie, The Avatar. Like he going to use these animals. He going to put a spirit on these animals to fuck shit up. I be noticing with my dog. I had a dog, and sometimes he might get full, and he be on some lazy shit. But the birds, I'm watching the birds eat. Like I give him more so of a meat diet. I mean, I mix vegetables in there. I might mix rice with it if I'm feeding him Biljack or something. But for the most part, I'm giving him meat. Like I just gave him meat today. It's birds eating the meat. I seen a bird is a filthy ass animal to a degree. It's lawful to eat chicken, but a chicken is a nasty ass filthy animal. That's why people clean it. You know what I mean? A chicken to eat, like I used to see seagulls and what's those sparrows eat, chicken. You know what I mean? Like somebody throw some chicken they ain't gonna eat on the ground and they'll eat that shit. But I've never seen them eat like dog food. So that's letting you know, like, in that day, they're going to be eating on them dead bodies. It says, and the wild beasts shall change their places, and minstrous women shall bring forth monsters. And that's going into, the deformed children, children with, stunted hands or stunted arms or conjoined twins and whatnot, but it's also going into, these GMO babies, which play a big part in what's going on with all this theft shit too. It's kind of like that whole situation with the Black Lives Matter shit when they was having all those Black Lives Matter protests and shit like that. With with the age of provocateurs and all the chaos they was bringing with that. It makes me think about the situation that just recently happened in PA, where you had the social media female that was up there laughing when you had all the people breaking into these stores just looting. This is all about design. You really don't think that the police could have came down there? So they have been told to stand back. To hold their position because everything is done for a reason. You know what I mean? Like the Hegelian dialectic. Problem, reaction, solution. So the book of Ezekiel chapter 7 talks about, thus saith the Lord, this is Ezekiel 7 and verse 5, it reads, thus saith the Lord Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushua, power and evil and only evil, behold, is come. And end is come, the end is come, it watcheth for thee, behold, is come. And the end of what? This white man's rulership, this devil's, what he thinks he's going to do is checkmate the Most High. You know what I mean? Like, trust and believe. That's why he's prepared. The elders and the brothers often, well, I ain't going to say often, but have went into the fact of the elites don't live here. The elites don't live here. They live because they know this bitch going to get blown up. You got, man, there's so much shit going on right now. You know what I mean? Like, I ain't gonna say it's hard to keep up, but you know what I mean? Like, it's things going on, you know what I mean? Like, that's why I don't feel the need through the spirit to, do videos on certain topic. Because it's being covered from, the spirit pushing certain things. You know what I mean? Like, at the end of the day, as far as this World War III, with this situation with, what's going on in Israel with this WFI and the Palestinians and, you know what I mean? Just so much going on, you know what I mean? And all of it's create a narrative. You know what I mean? But the end of the way that this system runs is, coming to an end. And the system that they want a system where, everybody is under surveillance. You're going to have to go to, like the scripture says, you have to go to the enemy for the one of all things. It's really going to be like that. Because that devil said you will own nothing and be happy. So, again, they about to make it hard to live, but scripture says, that those that trust in the Lord, they're going to be taken care of, I'm going to read a little bit more in the article. That's the spirit. It says this is the same individual. It says Mark Davis of Yorkshire, England, a visitor in DC from the United Kingdom. And he says, I just think society is starting to change. He didn't say I ain't think the UK, or he said society, period, is starting to change. And it's a deeper thing that we need to look at all together. That's so spiritual. Because obviously he's seeing something going on, but you average everyday niggas and you Edomites that's just lost in the sauce that the Lord really don't give a fuck about. That just the Lord got you in a trick bag where he just letting you just, like, come on. Like, you got, what I mean? Economists is going into the fact of, when you don't trust your government, you should try to buy silver and gold. You got to understand these motherfuckers manipulate the stock market. You know what I mean? Like, they'll tell you, you had a point in time when nobody worked, but the stock market still made money. How the fuck is, what I mean? Like, take the time to really think about that. How the stock market didn't crash if majority of people couldn't work because you had to be locked down for your safety? Retail theft rings have repeatedly struck stores in Tyson, and I'm not saying that it's not rings of people doing certain things. You know, like brothers that stay in California tell you about how you got niggas. That's why I brought out second Ezra chapter 5. You know, it said women shall bring forth monsters. You got these little niggas, these GMO babies, like the elder apostle Racha calls them, you know what I mean? Because they are, you know, they thinking it's fucked up, you know what I mean? They willing to suck a dick and bend over for Esau and do whatever it takes to put their face on TV. You know, Cardi, it was one of them goofy bitches, Cardi B, or one of them talking about, I can't think of it. It was one of them talking about how they just want to be famous or some shit like that. You know what I mean? And that shows you like everybody want attention. You know what I mean? You know what I mean? That's why everybody got a podcast or a platform or a YouTube channel. You know, if I wasn't in this truth, I wouldn't have no fucking YouTube channel. That's just being honest. They Suge Knight that's locked up got a podcast. What the fuck? You know this bitch over with. It says retail theft rings have repeatedly struck stores in Tyson's Corner, Virginia, and smash and grab. And then look at the states it's going to. Like I said, I knew about California. I knew about on the East Coast, PA, shit like that. Which PA ain't that far from Virginia, but still though, you know, and smash and grab and burglaries have plagued retailers throughout the region from suburban Maryland, so that's Baltimore, to Northern Virginia. Many CVS stores in the area have been hit by looting in recent months. First, I want to say this. This is not just an H Street or a DC problem. This is something that's going on all over the country, right? Said Ben Ataga, owner of a Maryland-based wellness studio, as he strolled H Street. Asked specifically about the theft of paper towels and toilet paper inside the CVS, Ataga provided a more nuisance view. The economy is going up. Cost of living is going up. If people are stealing items, necessities, you know, I think maybe we should take a look at that. Ataga said maybe those are things that we don't increase, or maybe as a community we provide that. Hey, look, you can come pick up some toiletries and stuff like that so that you can take care of yourself. And it's showing you at the end of the day, I'm going to end it on that. You know, I'm going to bring out the scripture because to show you how the Lord did it, because I had that scripture just set up. You know, at the end of the day, the scriptures talk about cursed be the man that trusteth in man. You got niggas and these goofy ass Edomites, these two-time losers that's waiting on this devil to come up with a solution to save them when they don't understand that this devil is really trying to enslave them. He's not trying to save you. He's trying to enslave you. You know what I'm saying? And what did he say? He said people are stealing the stuff they need to live. So why don't we try to provide that? Because like I said, at the end, it's going to be, like I said, they're not going to be able to provide that because you're going to have a limited, you know, you're going to have a limited supply and demand. That's basically what it is. You got, when things are not needed, you got a high supply of it. But when everybody needs these things, you know, go get me wrong, you know what I mean? Like you got people right now, you know, I live by a church, you know what I mean? And they give produce like every month. And I'm talking about this line be all the way down to the fucking street. You know, like the church around the corner from me. And the line goes all the way down the street. And we not in times where it's COVID no more, you know what I mean? Where people lost their jobs. Like the economy is supposed to be doing good. You shouldn't be trusted in this devil. Scriptures talk about cursed be the man that trusteth in man, you know what I mean? But it also says, blessed be the man that trusteth in Yahweh B'Shem Yahushua. Scriptures talk about put not thy confidence in princes. So this is the book of Isaiah chapter 65, and I'm going to start at verse 12, and it reads, therefore will I number you to the sword, and ye shall all bow down to the slaughter, because when I called, ye did not answer. When I spake, ye did not hear, but did evil before my eyes, and did not choose that wherein I delighted not. You know, the Most High God is so merciful because he got, you know, the hopeful elect. You know, you got men that believe in this truth, who is on their spirit to do this week in and week out. Not just going on the highways and hedges, because brothers put up daily epistles. I'm making one now. You know, that's the grace and the mercy of Yahweh Hashem Yahushua, because it tells you in the scriptures that wisdom and knowledge shall be the stability of thy time. You know, it says, store up not thyself treasures in heaven. So what's going to be the treasures? Because you're going to have to forsake everything here. So what's going to be the treasure? The wisdom and knowledge. And you got a time when a nigga sit up there and said, you niggas just know shit. To show you, I mean, like, man, he said he can't stand the men that go out on the highways hedges week in and week out because he said we bums, we ain't got no jobs, we just these things, we all these derogatory things. He don't know none of us from a can of paint, you know, don't know what we going through, don't know what nobody have. I'm not even gonna go into like what brothers got. You got men in here that's actually been somebody in the world. Like, what the fuck? Might still be somebody in the world. Anyhow, but, you know, just showing you a mindset of a nigga. And also the scriptures talk about a famine of the word. You know what I mean? Like, in that day, a nigga like that, man, you know, like the elder brother, Amawan Gabar said, he said he don't even get upset about individuals like that because the scripture said you're going to have scoffers. But it's just like, yeah, for real, Jake, you know, this is the ultimate act of love. You got individuals, or I'm going to call them Akim, you know, because they are of us until, I mean, if they were of us, they will remain with us. So as long as they're with us, they are brothers. It's a separation in the world. Those that are in this and believe this in the world. But again, this is the ultimate act of love because we risking our lives going out there. You know what I mean? If it's persecution going on with individuals, you know what I mean? Like just based on what the shit, because you got to understand, people are so simple. It ain't just about, that's a whole separate Israelite group, got a whole separate doctrine. So they have a whole separate belief. So it's not the same group. But what this devil going to do is lump all of us in the same, like he does. Like the fuck. That's why scriptures talk about he accomplished a diligent search. So he's going to lump you over here. Why you think it's red list, blue list, yellow list? Why you think they... It says, therefore will I number you to the sword, and ye shall all bow down to the slaughter, because when I called, ye did not answer, and when I spake, ye did not hear, but did evil before my eyes, and did choose that wherein I delighted not. And that made me think of that individual that made that video. Then he kept on saying, respectfully. You being the most disrespectful motherfucker ever, but you respectfully being it, huh? It says, verse 13, therefore thus saith the Lord, Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai power, behold, my servant shall eat, but ye shall be hungry. Behold, my servant shall drink, but ye shall be thirsty. Behold, my servant shall rejoice, but ye shall be ashamed. And I just showed you a video, like you say, that ain't gonna just be CVS's and shit. That's gonna be grocery stores. The worse the economy gets, the more, you know, they was just talking about JP Morgan. He just sold that they call him Jamie Demon. That nigga literally just sold like 1 million shares. They said it's like $130 million. So if the economy doing so fucking good, why would he be selling that? Verse 14. Behold, my servant shall sing for joy of heart, but ye shall cry for sorrow of heart, and shall howl for vexation of spirit. These people don't believe in nothing. You know, so therefore they gonna howl. You know, we righteously vexed by the wickedness of this world, but you're gonna be vexed by, you know, the judgments of Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushua. And I guarantee you that because it's prophesied. Every nigga, 2/3 nigga, bitch, nigga woman, the nigga ass kids, these fucking heathens and fucking devil, all these people that literally are enemies of Yahweh Bashim Yahushua is going to be vexed because the judgments, the scriptures talk about the 4 sore judgments, and famine is one. A lot of people going to die. If you're so-called Black, Hispanic, Native American, Seminole Indian, West Indian, or Haitian, I implore you to come back to the laws, statutes, and the commandments of Yahweh Bashim Yahushua, or you will be destroyed. And with that, I want to give all praise, all honor, and all glory to call Loyim La Yahweh Bashim Yahushua Bashim Rachakados Gatham. I'm going to say double honor to my apostles, the elders of the great millstone, teach and do rule well. Peace and salutations to the Akim across the 4 corners of the earth, pushing the truth with faith and with sincerity, as well as risking their lives and the freedom to do so now more so than ever. Shalom to the Akim and the Aquath out there listening and learning. Lord, willingly, this is edifying. Shalom to the Israelite foreigners scattered abroad in the land of other nations, appearing like the other nations, subscribing to this truth. To you, I say shalom. Till next time I'm able to come with another lesson. Shalom, shalom. Shalom.